So, about a year ago, give or take, I was trying to figure out where all of our money was going. I sat there and went through the whole budget and I went through everything we were spending it on because we're terrible at keeping track of things. But something wasn't adding up and we were really confused about where all of our money was going. Okay. Because we didn't really do a whole lot of extra. And so we quickly found out that it was our groceries. We were eating all of our money. And so I've spent the past year trying to figure out how to make that stop. Um, and I think I finally have, or I know I finally have. And it's been such a long time coming, and I've been working so hard on it. And okay, so when we go grocery shopping, we don't have we do have a list, and we get the things that are on the list, but we also get 100 other things that were not on the list. Okay, and for a while there, I was like, I knew my husband was a big part of the problem, and but so I tried to go just me, myself, and I, but that's hard to do when you have two kids, two very small kids. So I really hated getting me and them out of the house by myself, and taking them grocery shopping and trying to think about what I was doing and budgeting and adding things up and planning dinners out and all of this stuff in my head while I'm trying to manage them, and it was just not practical. Okay, so there for a little while I was stuck between a rock and a hard place where I was just stressed about it, didn't know what to do about it, because that was the only solution I was really seeing, was to leave him at home so that we didn't buy the snacks and the unnecessary things to just stick in the freezer that we weren't going to eat anytime soon, or the meats on tops of meats on tops of meat, and all of these things. So I have recently discovered a new plan of action, and I'm so excited about it. So what I do is I have a planner, and I actually have it right here, so I will show it to you. I have a planner. And what I do on the, which way direction I go? What I do on this planner is I go through and I write down dinner on each day of my planner. Okay, so, and I even went a step further than that here yesterday, actually. So all of this is really new and developing for us, but I've been practicing, I've been putting it into practice and growing it and expanding on it and refining it and all of this stuff for about 2 weeks now, and I'm really hopeful and excited about where it's going with everything. And so I spend about an hour ish planning out meals for the next week. Okay, and I have a whiteboard hanging in the kitchen that I should have grabbed, but I didn't because that's who I am. And it's a week. It's a rectangle calendar. It's a whiteboard about like that, and it's got it's Monday through Sunday labeled out. It's like a week calendar, or a week whiteboard calendar, and I've sectioned them off into threes. Okay, so each day has 3 sections, and depending on, well, so I put on the whiteboard what's for breakfast, what's for lunch, what's for dinner on all of these days, and it differs depending on if my husband's on days or nights, or if the kids will be here or with my parents, or if I have a meeting I have to go to for work, or whatever. But the important thing is that I have everything on this calendar planned out for what we're going to eat this week, and that helps me not only cut down what we're spending at the grocery store, because now all I need is the things to make what we're eating this week. Okay, and I'm not buying all of these other things that, we're out of taco stuff. So I know we like tacos, so I'm just going to buy the taco stuff. So when we decide that we want tacos, we have the stuff to make tacos. We don't do that anymore. That was our problem beforehand. We had, like 10 to 12, whatever, however many meals that we knew we ate, and we just made sure we kept all of the stuff to make all of those meals all of the time in case we felt like we wanted one, and or that's what we wanted today. And that is terrible and not the way to go, because it's expensive to keep all of the ingredients for all of those meals all of the time. And it's impractical because you can't eat that much food in a week or whatever, however long it takes or whatever. But so we'll go to town once a week now, hopefully, and we just buy what's on the calendar to make. And so we're not buying all of this extra. And when my husband can go with us, because, which he was anyway, we were just dealing with it. But when he goes to pick something up now, I'm like, what's that for? And he has to give me an answer, or it's not going in the buggy. Like, oh, well, we might want Alfredo one day. That's great. Which day? I need to know. Are we having it Wednesday or Tuesday? Because if we're not having it, because, Tuesday and Wednesday are the only days that don't have meals on them as of yet. If that's what you want, then sure. But if you can't commit to it, then we're not getting it. And the only exception to the rule is if something's on sale. If something's on sale and it'll last, then by all means, stick it in the buggy. But if it's not on sale and you don't have a specific day that you're going to cook this food, do not put it in the buggy, because it might go to waste. It's going to cost extra money for no reason. And sure, you're just kind of kicking the can down the road with that, but that's how you save money also, is by kicking the can down the road. Sure, $20 now or $20 later, but $20 later maybe 3 paychecks from now. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It works. And we went from spending like $200 a grocery trip to like $100 a grocery trip, and it really makes a difference. When I'm meal planning, I look at what's in the fridge now, what's going to go bad first, what needs to be used before it goes bad, and that's how I decide what we're cooking. Okay, it's not any of this what do I feel like today nonsense. Okay, like if I get there, I plan it now, and when the time comes, if I'm not feeling it, then I might switch tomorrow's with today's. But that's about the extent of it that I'm going to do personally. I'm just going to deal with it, because it's easier to just go ahead and deal with it and make it anyway, whether you feel like eating it or not, rather than trying to find something else and hoping you have the ingredients for it or whatever. If you have something else laying around the house, then sure. But what's important is that you're planning it out, and that you're planning for this and not spending all of this extra on this or that, or things that you might want or might feel like or might need. And it makes all of the difference in the world. So yeah, I'm learning new recipes. I've got my other notebook, which is different than my planner, that I've started a while ago, but I'm adding to it over here. So these are just like little recipes and stuff for things like my homemade cashew milk, coconut milk, stuff like that I can make. And then over here, I just started this yesterday. I'm in the process of writing down a directory of all the things that we cook for dinner. So instead of sitting there and trying to figure out what to cook out of thin air or out of my head or whatever, which takes mental space and capacity, which talked about in a few videos. Again, you only have enough mental capacity to make X amount of decisions a day. So if you're constantly using that mental capacity to make simple, mundane, everyday, all the time, the same decisions over and over again, for example, what to wear every day or what to eat every day, then you're wearing down your mental capacity and taking away from it, where you could be using it for bigger, better, other things. So now I'll have this list where I can just go through the list of the things that we know how to cook and we generally cook, and pick something that sounds good this week. And that's my system for that, which is It's not as complicated as it sounds. So I have my planner where I jot down things, and then I have my notebook where I keep things, like lists of things, and then I have my whiteboard. Yeah. So, but this is also the early, the early workings of this system too. So the getting started is the hardest part of anything ever. And the first time is always the hardest, and after that it gets easier and easier. So eventually this whole process and system will only take me a few minutes a week to do, in theory. But yeah, so that's that. Like and subscribe. Watch the other videos, most of them about minimalism, mindset, zero waste, that kind of fun stuff. Comment, let me know what you think, what works for you, if you have any advice or things to add to things. Those are always great. And check out the next videos.